Currently, there are 3 officially supported Pokemon formats. Standard, the format that most players play, the one that every regional post-2020 has been held in, as well as the one which every World Championships has been held in. Standard is defined by a roughly yearly rotation of cards, removing out the old ones and bringing in the new cards. Expanded, a format which does not rotate, however, consists of cards from 2011's Black and White base set and onwards. This format has a ban list and hasn't seen much play since the beginning of COVID. Unlimited, the third format, is rarely played. This format has no ban list and consists of cards from 1999's base set all the way through the most recent era of the TCG. Cards are played with the most recent errata text, however, there are no additional restrictions. Unlike the other formats, which have a constantly changing meta, Unlimited is defined by one card, Sableye from Stormfront. This 60 HP Dark-type Pokemon, released in late 2008, doesn't seem so intimidating at first. However, its Pokebody is the key to most decks' success in the Unlimited format. The Pokebody, Overeager, allows you that if Sableye is your active Pokemon at the start of the game, you are guaranteed to go first. If both players start Sableye, the ability cancels out each other and the normal beginning of game procedure would happen. Sableye allowing you to go first guarantees that your deck is able to start off right away and play cards before your opponent has a chance to set up. Sableye has a controversial history in the trading card game. It was responsible for the emergency rotation in 2011, causing the format to go from a Majestic Dawn on format to a Heart Gold Soul Silver on format for the 2011 World Championships. Allowing players to go first with no turn run restrictions often led to situations where the opponent would not get to perform a single action in the game and would immediately lose after Sableye performs a needlessly complex combo. Unlike in the 2011 pre-rotation standard format, Unlimited has a lot more cards to work with and a lot more unnecessarily complex combinations to pull off with Sableye, my personal favorite being Espeon, Porygon, and Unown Donk. I believe that this deck is one of the strongest decks in the Unlimited format, having positive matchups into almost every single deck, aside from ones which play Spiritomb from Platinum Arceus. Spiritomb has a Pokebody, which prevents this deck's main win condition of playing a ton of trainer cards from establishing a completed board state. The final win condition from this deck is Unknown Hand from Lost Thunder. This Pokemon has the ability Hand. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and you have 35 or more cards in your hand, you may use this ability. If you do, you win this game. Unknown Hand allows you to win the game without having to dedicate any serious resources to attacking Pokemon, and win with just a large enough hand. This deck relies on 3 other cards to achieve this count of 35 cards in the hand. Porygon Z from Unbroken Bonds, with its crazy code ability, allows you to attach as many special energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon per turn. This is paired with Cosmic Eclipse Draw Energy, which, when attached to a Pokemon, allows you to draw a card. To loop this, you play Espeon from Aquapolis, which has the Energy Return Pokepower. This Pokepower allows you to return energy from one of your Pokemon to your hand as often as you like during the turn. By creating an infinite state of looping draw energy, you can go through your entire deck in a matter of seconds. By playing powerful trainer cards such as Puzzle of Time, Junk Arm, base sets Professor Oak, as well as Pokédrawer Plus, you're able to dig through your entire deck in a single turn and get all the Pokemon you need into play. To get around the evolution rules of the Pokemon trading card game, 3 copies of Broken Time Space are included in the deck. This Stadium card allows your Pokemon to evolve during the same turn that you play them. A typical game with this deck lasts about 10 minutes, and during it, your opponent likely will have 0 chance to do anything besides watch you dig through your entire deck and play a bunch of trainer cards before establishing the win condition of 35 cards in the hand. I took this deck to a local Unlimited tournament in August of 2023 and went undefeated during all 4 rounds of the tournament and the additional rounds played after the game. I will now demonstrate how effective this deck is by playing a solitaire match in which I will be able to win before my opponent could do anything. This deck is simple enough. Took me a little bit under a week after building the list to go from a concept in a Excel document to actually playing this at Griffin's Unlimited event. I like this deck. It's really fun to solitaire, but it's also really stupid, and if they ever do another Unlimited tournament, I'm gonna try and just get like a sort of ban list to ban Sableye and ban the unknowns, so there's no like turn 1 win decks. I feel like that takes away from the fun deck building that can happen in Unlimited. If you're not playing meta, Unlimited is really fun, and if you're playing like really meta decks, Unlimited is also very fun. The biggest issue that like the Sableye, or the reason why Tomb isn't in every single deck is Tomb doesn't really have a win condition, or at least one directly associated with it like Sableye does. Sableye is just go fast, play items. Tomb shuts your opponent out of items, but shuts you out of them as well. And so, while you can evolve one Pokemon per turn with its attack, it's just a little too slow for this format. It stops this deck, but your opponent still has to hit a ton of cards in this deck. I guess they'd wall behind it and hope they can set up a board state and like take 6 prizes against you. But the second that Spiritomb moves out, your deck is online and ready to do stuff. You play enough natural recovery where you can just grab any Pokemon they knock out of the discard pile. Alright, let's see, top 7 cards of the deck. Alright, so we got an unknown start, and we have a lot of cards in the hand that allow us to do things. We have options. And those are always good. So you have an item finder and a junk arm, and then 3 strict. Look at the top couple cards of the deck, and we have an oak for when we're stuck. So we'll start the game by drawing. We're gonna just assume that we're going second, because it won't matter for anything besides the fact you can play Lysandre's trump card. But regardless of whether you go first or second, the option is almost always on the table with Porygon 2 Great Encounters. So you draw to start our turn. There we go, that's an Eevee. I'm going to play Pokedex right off the bat. Look at the top 2 cards. We don't need Scoop Up Net until late game, and arguably we may not even need it. So just put that at the bottom, and then we'll play Acrobike. Look at the top 2, discard 1 to hand. We'll put the Puzzle of Time in hand, and we'll discard the Junk Arm. We already have 2 recovery items in hand, so play Acro. Do the same thing. Porygon 2 and Porygon Z. We can throw the Z away. It's less useful at the moment. And we're going to play Trekking Shoes. The top card, Porygon, we'll punt that. Put this in the hand. Draw energy. Yes, we want this, so it's on the board, and then we draw a card. Alright, Double Puzzle of Time is big. So we're going to play Double Puzzle. And we are going to grab both of our Acrobikes. I think having cards on the discard is really good at the moment. And so these are in hand. Puzzle of Times go on to cards, and we're going to play our first Acrobike. The top 2, Puzzle or Junk Arm. I think that Puzzle is better at the moment. And then we're going to play... We'll play a single Puzzle. I think that might actually be the play here. Pokédrawer, Trekking, Espeon. Well, we don't have Broken Time Space, so I think by putting Espeon into the discard pile, what we'll do here is we'll play our next Acrobike. We'll look at the top 2. We'll discard the Espeon and put the Pokédrawer, and we'll play Pokédrawer, drawing 1 card. Trekking Shoes, and then we'll play Trekking Shoes. Puzzle of Time. We already played 1 Puzzle of Time. I don't see the point in it. Yeah, I guess we could do that. We'll keep it. And then we'll play 1 Puzzle at a time and look at the top 3. So we'll do a Field Blower, which is a completely dead card, a Sableye, and Trekking Shoes. So the only one of these that we really want is the Trekking Shoes, and only because we can just thin out more. So we're going to use Item Finder, and we're going to grab one of those Acrobikes that we just played back, put it into the hand, and then play it. Look at the top 2. We're going to punt Field Blower, and we're going to use Trekking Shoes, and we're going to play Trekking Shoes. Discard the Sableye and draw a card. It's another Trekking Shoes, so we're just going to chain it. I don't think we need a Rotom Dex, so we'll grab another card. So draw energy. Can't really do much about that, so we're just going to play Professor Oak. So unlike Bill, Oak never got a strict reprint under the name Professor Oak, so this card is completely legal to be played essentially as an item. So there's no restrictions on, okay, this is a hand. There's a lot of cards in here that I don't know if we really need. Like 2 Oaks and a Sableye. So we're going to Pokedex Junk Arm and Scoop Up Cyclone. I think that we can put Scoop Up Cyclone back into the deck. It's good late game. And then we're going to use Acrobike and look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Porygon and Draw Energy. We don't need Draw Energy, but we need Porygon. So we'll drop down at the Porygon. Then we're going to play a Junk Arm, punting Professor Oak and Sableye. And we're going to grab another Acrobike and play the Acrobike. Look at the top 2 cards. Pokédrawer and Porygon 2. Pokédrawer. And then we're going to just play the one Pokédrawer. Broken Time Space. That's what we need. So we're going to play Oak now. Draw 7 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right now we have arguably one of the best board states we could be in. Because we can grab stuff out of the discard pile. We have access to both of our Puzzle of Times, which definitely going to use an item finder at one point. I just need to figure out what the next, I think this is the next one, and we go in and we grab Eevee or we grab Espeon and Porygon 2. And we know that there's a Scoop Up Cyclone in the deck, so we're going to grab Porygon 2, and then Espeon was way further back in here. We'll grab the Espeon. And we'll evolve into Espeon, and we'll use the Energy Return ability just to check the deck. There is a Trump card in here and 2 Scoop Up cards, so we have game right now. We're going to evolve into Porygon and evolve into Crazy Code Porygon, and then we're going to loop draw it. We're going to return it with Energy Return, and then Crazy Code it back onto the Unown to draw a card. And it's just going to draw us the whole card, so not shuffling there isn't going to hurt us. And now we have access to Scoop Up Net and Trump card. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Scoop Up Net and pick up the Porygon and drop down the first 2 stages of it. And then we are going to drop down, or we're going to use Download, its ability, and we're going to discard Trump card. And by discarding Trump card, both players shuffles their entire discard pile into their deck, which is just such a ridiculous effect. This card was one of the first ones banned in Standard after the Wizards of the Coast era, because I believe through all of the EX and Diamond and Pearl era, there weren't any banned cards. It took until the XMY era, with like, what is that, early 2015, late 2014, post-Worlds, where Trump card got printed. Yeah, it was in Phantom Forces, so late 2014. And that card, just so toxic. It's been banned in Standard, it's banned in Expanded. It probably will never get unbanned. It's not a balanced card in any format. It allows you to power through your deck like with this one. And then we just drop down the Porygon, he stays in the discard, and we loop Draw Energy, and we draw our entire deck. So right here, we have, this is 45 cards in our hand, which is 10 more than we need for Unknown hand. So, yeah, we declare ability hand. We win the game. Nothing our opponent could do about it. If you're playing against Power Cancel Alakazam or an SP deck, they could Power Spray your Energy Return and they could Power Spray your Download, but we played 2 Scoop Up cards and enough cards to recycle them, so they would require your opponent to have an honestly ridiculous amount of Power Spray in hand and get the full SP setup, which is really unlikely in this format because no one's going to be playing SP.